Right.
Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to This Week in Bitcoin. Today is January the 5th, 2018. I'm coming from San Diego, where I have a strong hand and where we're going to have a meetup tomorrow. Wow, I'm so pumped. Michael Krieger just mentioned my hair, and I just had to fluff it up. I'm so freaking excited to have Michael Krieger, Liberty Blitzkrieg, Giacomo Zucco, and Giacomo's coming from straight out of Italy. And of course, we got Ken Bosak coming from the East Coast. Welcome this outrageous panel to the show to start off 2018. I wouldn't want to start off 2018 with any other group of guys because we need this type of energy to get us going, to have a strong hand, to keep in motion for 2018. And of course, check out the links below to learn all about who these guys really are. You should already know about who they are because they've all been on this show before and they're talking Bitcoin all over the place. But before we talk about Bitcoin, we've got to get one of the big issues of this week in Bitcoin out of the way. And it doesn't really have to do with Bitcoin. It has a lot to do with all these fudsters saying, flippening, rippling, Bitcoin will be number 2, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we've heard it all before. We're veterans here, but some of you aren't. Some of you have weak hands, and you need to know what this Ripple thing is all about. So Giacomo Zucco out of Italy, he's always got a lot of opinions about altcoins and ripples and all sorts of stuff. What is up with this Ripple nonsense?
Well, I would not say a lot of opinions. It's the same old good opinion, which is they are scams. But actually, yeah, now it's the time of rippling. I don't think it's something really new. I think that what we are seeing is just a new edition of the same old chant about the new Bitcoin is the bank, pro-government version of Bitcoin, which is this new altcoin. Also, the triggers of the incredibly high hype was very similar to the one of one of the second hype cycle of Ethereum, where everybody was excited about the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, which was a bunch of companies that committed to experiment the use of Ethereum private forks without actually using the Ether token. But everybody got excited all the same. So the ETH token price, which is not used by the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, skyrocketed. That's also what Riccardo Spagni, Fluffy Pony, made fun of when he announced the Monero Enterprise Alliance in order to jokingly boost the price, and it actually crashed, of course, because it was a prank. But Monero is the only honest scam coin here. So Ripple is the same, except that this time everything is bigger because Bitcoin market cap is bigger, mainstream exposure is bigger. So also the usual old scam coin hype cycle is bigger, such that yesterday actually on WhatsApp, my 20 years old cousin that hated me, that asked me every Christmas to stop talking about Bitcoin at dinner, because I was doing that every year since years. Now is asking me advices about Ripple. What is this Ripple? So yeah, it's the same thing, just we are reaching wider and wider circles. And in this special case, I would say that this particular scam coin is mostly all the same. So it's centralized. It has nothing to do with the business proof of concept, which are bullshit anyway. It could be at least at most interesting as some kind of standard finance programming language, but not really. It's technically mostly empty. And it will never be something like Bitcoin. But two things are different. The first thing is an interesting story about Ripple is that as a project, as a name at least, it started before Bitcoin itself. And the original Ripple project, unlike the actual Ripple scam, the current Ripple scam, the original Ripple project was indeed interesting. Some kind of weird precognition of Lightning Network in a way, but without trustless collateralization, so not really useful. But it was an interesting project. And the second thing is that Ripple's logo is a fidget spinner, so it's actually an hype on a hype. So it's like the two major fads of this era, scam coins and fidget spinners, finally merge in a single hype.
Wow. Now, that was a great analysis of the situation. Now, one of the funny things that's going to come out of all that many of the viewers will just be like, he said Monero. I must buy Monero. They'll just ignore all
don't buy Monero.
The one altcoin he said was okay, so I'm going to get Monero. I mean, that's going to be some people's takeaway. Don't let that be your takeaway, people. Just buy and hold Bitcoin. Pound that like button because we're going wild. All right.
Yeah. Also, what we say about the underlying technology has nothing to do with price in this irrational hype market. So people will pump coins, irrespective, not connecting anything with real technology. So the fact that Monero or Green maybe will have interesting technology and Ethereum sucks or Ripple sucks doesn't mean that that the market would follow that. The market right now is just following marketing, and usually is like the other way around. The more interesting, technologically speaking, an open source project is, the less it is going to use marketing teams. So usually you can see a reverse correlation between short-term price in pumps and the real technology underlying it.
Oh yeah, the market can be quite mindless and just follow the leader. And so that's a good segue into what Michael Krieger of Liberty Blitzkrieg has to say about the situation when we were talking about it off air. Take it away, Michael Krieger.
Yeah. So first, I want to mention something about a very important difference between Ripple and Bitcoin, just besides what was just mentioned, which I think people really need to understand. And it's very important because it's fundamentally and philosophically key to the difference between these two coins. Is the fact that Bitcoin is driven by the people. Bitcoin is driven by consumers, by people wanting to adopt it. That's what backs this community up. That's what backs the coin up, in addition to the technology. Ripple is the exact opposite. Ripple goes to the banksters. Ripple goes to the banks. It has Ben Bernanke giving it support. Ripple has no chance of succeeding unless the banks like it. So it could not be more different in what will cause the success of Bitcoin versus what will cause the success of Ripple. Ripple is fundamentally the most establishment coin you could ever imagine. It's establishment coin. That's what it is. I think someone said tweet the other day, they're like, XRP is like Hillary Clinton as a politician. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right.
That's awesome, man.
Right? It's the Hillary Clinton of coins. I don't even call it a crypto coin. I don't even want to grace it with that. It's becoming, it's the suit coin. I mean, we could just keep going. But anyway, it's like the antithesis of everything we believe in this community. It's going with their hands out to the bankers saying, please use us. Okay. I have no interest in anything like that, and neither should any of you. But what I want to touch on now real quick is what you were alluding to, which is the fact that, and this is very important, again, if you compare the articles you'll read in the corporate media, the mainstream media, of coverage of Bitcoin versus Ripple, it is night and day. I've been reading about and writing about Bitcoin since 2012. So I've been reading all of the articles for over 5 years now. And every single Bitcoin article you'll ever read mentions the tulip bubble. I mean, sometimes they're a little bit more creative and they'll say like South Sea or Mississippi bubble, but it's like 90% of the time it's tulip. But by the way, this is obviously a tulip bubble. So Ripple then goes up 30,000% in a year. And no one's calling it a tulip bubble. It's all of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, look at this look at the competitor to Bitcoin. You know, this is the real deal. Here's how you buy it. You know, and so to me, that's a red flag. Anything that the corporate media is going to be rallying around when it comes to this space is the sort of thing that you should be running away from as fast as you possibly can. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of them is the simple fact that most people haven't yet got to where we've gotten, which is the fact that we want a decentralized world. We want a world where you don't have to trust people in suits, where you can trust code, where transparency and ethics are fundamental to the protocol. And Ripple just flies in the face of all of that. Ripple is like, again, it's basically like trying to improve a horse and buggy when everyone else wants an automobile. and I have no interest in that. And so yeah, I think it's a real shame that it's gotten all this attention. But at the same time, I think we should use this as an opportunity, because it's showing people for who they are, and it's showing the media for what it is, and also it is to some degree showing you how stupid this space has become now. We've got, for the first time in the 5 years that I've watched this space, and I have a Wall Street background, so I've been watching markets for almost 2 decades now, and you're just seeing the lowest common denominator type person now throwing money into this space. And it's not just Ripple. You can see it when you look at like the top 10, let's say, market cap coins. The ones that have been going up the most are the ones that are trading at about $1 or $2, because people are looking at the price and saying, well, I can buy 1,000 coins at $2, but I can't even buy 1 Bitcoin. And that's about and that's the depth of the thought process of these noobs coming in, and it's very scary. And I saw a great tweet earlier today that showed that if you had the same number of coins for Ripple versus Bitcoin, the price would be 18. A couple of days ago, because the price went down, but it would have been $18,000 a Ripple. You think for a moment that anyone would be buying Ripple if the unit price was 18,000? Of course not. So this is a sign that some serious stupidity has entered the space, and that's worth being aware of.
Wow. I love your horse and buggy analogy there. That is going to go down like in the legendary Hall of Fame of this show. I know Andy Hoffman is going to like that one. That was really good. All right. Ken, a lot was just said. A lot was just said. What an add on to it, baby.
Well, I mean, like you were saying, most people are coming in to ask me how to buy Bitcoin so they can buy the Ripple coin, the new Bitcoin, because of like how he was saying the media is portraying it as such. And it's the media versus you and me. So we have Fox, they're on the TV saying this Ripple coin's the new Bitcoin, versus you and me, just people on YouTube saying, no, it's fucking not. Sorry, I know you don't curse on your channel. I'm sorry. But, it just gets me upset that people are being manipulated by the people that are at the top controlling everything. A lot of people don't understand that Ripple is centralized, not decentralized. The supply has no cap. They can dump as much Ripple into existence as they want to keep the supply where they want it at the price that they want it. When I say them, I mean banks. And another thing, you said to compete with Bitcoin's market cap, Ripple would have to be what, $18,000?
Oh no, I was saying that if you said the same number, because there's 100 billion Ripples, so if there were 1 million, yeah, the equivalent price would be. So
correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you have to have 25 Ripple in every wallet you create at all times, and it has to stay there?
Yep. They've changed that number before over the years.
Doesn't that sound like a bank account? Opening up a bank account where you have to leave money in the account and you can't touch it. It's not yours anymore. That to me is a red flag. Like, imagine if you couldn't touch 25 Bitcoin. Would you even bother with that technology? People don't understand any of this because they're only looking at the dollars, the red and green candles. They don't understand the technology behind the dollar sign. So they're just throwing money blindly at something people are tweeting about that they trust. It's pure manipulation. It's another pump and dump, but it's financial Darwinism. We're going to go through these financial Darwinism stages where new people come in. Unfortunately, they're taken advantage of, because that's what happens when people come into something they don't know anything about, but they learn. They pass that on to the next person, and more people come in. But as more and more people come in, there's more and more people to help. So that problem will eliminate itself over time. But there are people betting on Ripple, and I like to call Ripple the cancer of crypto. It's like investing in Marlboro. People are going to keep buying cigarettes, so you're probably going to make a lot of money if you buy Marlboro Philip Morris stock, but you're killing people. You're murdering people for a profit. That's Ripple.
Dude, this has been a great opening segment. My God, all of you are on your A game. First of all, we talked about Ripple a long time ago. I have no idea why. We called it the KYC coin, the Know Your Customer coin, because it's a centralized thing. Both of you just brought up a great point about how you have to store 25 Ripple, but that wasn't always the rule. They can change the rules whenever they want to, into any way they want to. They can make a billion more of them. That's centralization. This isn't even a cryptocurrency. And I mean, we're having a blast talking about it, but we're giving way too much attention to it. It's just gotten out of hand. I hope these 80%ers who are buying this do learn a lesson. Like Ken said, that there is some survival of the fittest. They learn a lesson and become stronger. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. It is ridiculous what's going on. Any of you have something else to say? I heard someone about to say something. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to mention that, you know, because I've been watching Ripple for many, many years, actually. I wrote about it in 2014, actually. At one point in 2015, they actually sent out an email, Ripple Labs, saying, well, we're not actually going to focus on the currency XRP anymore. You know, we're going to focus on the technology. And then they came back a few months later saying, oh, no, we do care about XRP. Just the point of that just being that that's just shady in itself. They can just change the message any given time. And, oh, another thing, huge conflict people need to be aware of. Ripple Labs, right, which issued XRPs and owns, by the way, 60% of all the float still, that's a private company with private equity owners. So how does that get reconciled? Because you've got Ripple Labs, which is a private company, but it has ownership, right? Equity ownership. And then you have XRP, the token of Ripple, the protocol. It's just like this very convoluted, disturbing, creepy bankster coin. And yeah, I mean, I would particularly these valuations, which are just insane. Just people shouldn't hurt themselves on this thing.
All right. I think we've ripped on Ripple enough.
Before we move on, I do want to say for the record, Coinbase is not adding Ripple. Get that shit out of your head, everybody. Thank you. Go ahead, Adam.
You know what, though, Ken? You never know. They go back and forth on lots of things.
You're right. Well, right now, they said they're not. As of now, they did say publicly, Brian said they're not.
Also, I don't know if that would be, I mean, a reputational problem for Coinbase because Ripple is a scam, or for Ripple itself because Coinbase is.
Oh man, yeah, Coinbase is having troubles. But part of the Ripple pump was based on the rumors that it was going to be added. So if it becomes real apparent that they're not going to add it, there'll be a dump. But I don't think it'll become super apparent. I think that hope will always be out there. And that's just the way Coinbase operates. You never know what's next from them. You never know if you're ever going to get your B gold from them or not. you never.
You're right.
I would bet not, people. So that's why you have to control your own private key. But get a Trezor at cryptohwwallet.com. Links below. Discount codes below. Hey, t-shirts also. What do we got? Cryptograffiti Meister code. I also want to remind everyone, if you're loving these guests, check out their links below. But Michael Krieger and I will be speaking together in Boulder, Colorado at the Boulder meetup. What's it going to be? April the 25th, right?
April 25th. That's right. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I wanted to remind everyone of that. And hey, remember also tomorrow in San Diego, this is really important. I should have said this at the beginning of the story. I'm in San Diego at Lofty Coffee at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, Saturday. That's in Little Italy in downtown San Diego. LoftyCoffee.com. I link to it below. 444 West Cedar Street. We're having a gathering. There's going to be a Bitcoin gathering with Adam Meister. All right, and just check out the links below, people. Enough promos for now. Let's get back. Let's talk about the bigger altcoin pump here. We kind of alluded to there's just some irrational exuberance going on right now. And a lot of people are calling it a junk rally, that it's these lowly fifth tier altcoins that are the ones that are just randomly going up, the ones that are under $1. Is it because of Korea? Is it some... I've heard theories about, and this is something maybe we all could address, that there's some wealthy people out there who want to buy a lot of Bitcoin, but instead of buying Bitcoin and just immediately pumping up the price, that they're going kind of a roundabout way by buying these altcoins and then eventually dumping these altcoins, but getting a lot of Bitcoin, they value their wealth in Bitcoin, making a huge Bitcoin profit in the long run. So, Giacomo, we'll start with you. What's your take on the fifth tier lowly altcoin pump? Where's it coming from? When will it end? And just your thoughts.
So I'm not coming from traditional finance, so I don't know. I know nothing. I am a theoretical physicist, but I think that this is very similar to dynamics that you could see during penny stock bubbles or the scammy.com bubbles. So the thing is that now we have more people coming in, and we have very simple. Like Michael was saying, psychological tricks like unitary price is important, so people is buying the cheaper stuff, so it was the stuff not yet pumped before. And also there is like the psychology of I mean, I have to show you I'm smarter because I missed out the scam coin last year. So now I'm coming to you, but because I have the new one, not the old one. I have the new Bitcoin and the new Ether and the new Ripple and the new Bitcoin fork, because it has to be the new. Also, I think there is also a name for this phenomenon. When you have a metric and many people are watching at the metric, then people will, and this metric becomes important, people will start to adjust not to generic goals, but to the matrix. So right now, people is watching market cap, also unitary price, but the most advanced traders, they are watching market cap. So the scammers or the hypers in general, or the marketeers, in order to do not abuse the word scam, because I tend to do that, but the marketing oriented, well, yeah, scammers, they look at the market price, the market cap, and they are starting to engineering ways in order to have a bigger market cap. So, for example, for coin like Bcash or Bgold, they are a way to have a semi-instant huge market cap in the matrix. Pre-mining was another way. So people is getting smarter in creating this stuff. Also, the thing is that we know that eventually the rationality tends to prevail, especially if people have skin in the game. So if you can lose money, eventually you will become rational, because you will learn through suffering and pain. But this is a very long it's a very long feedback loop. And if you think about capitalization of .com, scammy.com at the end of 1999, these ICOs and altcoins are still very little compared to that. And that was a mainly US-based phenomenon in which you have to be adult, registered with an identity. Here, it's a global phenomenon where like a underage little boy from Mozambique, if he just has a telephone and some spare dollars, he can speculate on these new super crazy penny stocks. So I would say that the reason of the super junk coin emerging right now is just, I would call it a natural evolution of a very, very unhealthy but maybe unavoidable cycle.
All right. Liberty Blitzkrieg, Michael Krieger. What are your thoughts on these fifth tiers?
Yeah, so I think you made up a lot of really good points there. And one I want to expand on is this idea of marketing. So I remember back when we knew that the Bcash fork was going to happen, I wrote a post saying, don't sell your Bcash right away. Because what I felt was that it had enough significant backers with a lot of money behind them that they were going to say the only way we can try to get this project to kind of succeed is if we pump the price. And that they were going to do everything to pump the price. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says, the white papers, this is how great our product is. The best way to get exposure, massive exposure across the world to your coin, is by pumping the price, period. So the higher you can get in the market cap rankings, the faster you can rise, the more articles that are going to be written about you, the more people that own the coin are going to talk about it incessantly and get other people interested. So that's part of the game. And we just have to understand that. And once you understand that so much of these pumps are just marketing tactics and that's it, you can be much more resilient to not falling for a lot of this garbage, which is what I think people need to do. And but taking a broader step back as well, this was also mentioned, the NASDAQ bubble was in the trillions, right? So it was multi-trillions, I believe. And if that's right at the top, the entire crypto market cap isn't even $1 trillion yet. So to say that we're like late, and this is, as it was also mentioned, this is 20 years later almost, and it's global instead of US based. So you would have to assume that this entire thing, if it's going to be some gigantic bubble, including a lot of alts that will explode to high prices, this still seems extraordinarily early in the context of what the sort of valuations we saw in 2000 were. The fact that it's 20 years later and we've had a lot more inflation now than we did then. And then number three, global financial system is so much bigger than it was back then. There's $233 trillion in global debt right now. It's about 320% of global GDP. We've got a Leviathan beast of a bubble financial system. So this is nothing.
Wow. Great points. I wanted to point out, it's funny, during Giacomo's, talking about the altcoins and marketing, someone in the chat was going, ADA is awesome. ADA is, I mean, it does the irony here. And also, I do hope that little kids in Mozambique are able to buy Bitcoin. If I have some advice to little kids in Mozambique, and I have been to Mozambique, yes, buy Bitcoin, little Mozambique kids. Don't mess with these altcoins. Get yourself a little bit of Bitcoin. So join Steam it, earn some Steam, and turn it into Bitcoin. Do whatever you need to do, little Mozambican, because had you bought it when I was there, when it was like $700, you'd be doing really well right now. But that's the beauty of Bitcoin. That's also the that there's danger in the altcoin world too, because anyone can get into it. So, a little kid could buy it from anywhere all over the world. And so some little kids will be learning some lessons, unfortunately. But who knows? They'll become mature at an older age, and they'll become financial wizards at an earlier age, and they'll understand what holding and long-term thinking is all about when they realize that Bitcoin is the one. Ken Bosak, what do you have to say about altcoins? And a nice segue after you go into altcoins is Bitcoin coming back now? It looks like people were down on it, but suddenly it's going up. But take it away, Ken. You have some thoughts.
Yeah, man. So for the altcoin space right now, you definitely do see a lot of marketing being done for these altcoins. It's crazy. I know you probably get emails all the time. I get them every day, yo.
Every day.
I'll pay you a whole Bitcoin. Make a 10-minute video about my altcoin. No, I'm not doing that. But yeah, that's what's happening though. People that do need money, I can't really blame them for accepting these offers. What I do blame are the people making these offers, the people in desperate situations.
John McAfee needs money, so yeah.
Yeah, he's paying enough personal security. He might actually need money at this point.
Oh, what? Jesus, a great show. Pound that like button, people. Everyone's coming up with awesome lines here. What McAfee is, he's just I try to ignore that dude. I can't believe
people have posted screenshots of him saying if you send him money, he'll pump your altcoin. And it's more than one person posting these screenshots. And then he claimed to get his reputation back that he was hacked for like 2 weeks and didn't know it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what? It's one thing if you're if you're sort of an unknown person and you're trading these penny coins, that's fine. You got to do what you got to do. But when you have a public profile like all of us do, then the ethics really come into play. And even if you own some or do something on the side, you should not. There's no business of you pumping them publicly with your platform. And if you do, you can expect your reputation to go down. I think that's exactly what will happen to you. So it's a warning.
Well, it's hard though. If you get into some crazy ICO, it's going to dump eventually. Yeah, of course your reputation, but I mean that's short-term thinking there. They're like, yeah, I'll get a Bitcoin to talk about this ICO. Who cares what happens to this ICO? And well, you know what? The 80%ers forget. To tell you the truth, I don't know, Krieger. I don't know if your reputation will get destroyed, but there's plenty of people. The one who puts on that conference south of the border, everybody forgives him at the nonsense Shemitah stuff.
Oh God!
The Shemitah gets forgotten. The Shemitah gets forgiven. So if the Shemitah gets forgiven and forgotten, I think some of the guys that are pumping these ICOs are going to get. McAfee will get, the Belizean will get forgiven too. Sorry, Ken.
No, but you know what makes it hard though, as a personality in the space, to genuinely talk about things you like just because you genuinely like them, and then you get accused of pumping. It's like, well, shit, I actually just like the project. Am I not allowed to talk about anything anymore? Like, that's how I feel. And I try to just ignore that. I'm like, I like this thing. I'm going to talk about the thing I like. I'm not accepting any payment for it. I just think it's freaking neat. And I tell people that all the time. I'm not trying to give any financial advice. I'm more into tech support. Like, I like the tech side of this investment stuff. So I'm investing in the tech, the idea of the project succeeding, not in it making me money. So if I necessarily say, hey, I like this project, that doesn't mean you're going to make money. I just really think I want this project to exist. So I'm going to put money into it, hoping that it makes the quality of my life better in the future. And a lot of people are just talking about coins that have no use case. They're just something that wants to compete with Bitcoin as a currency. And they don't even understand the difference between cryptocurrency and digital currency, or a currency token, or a utility token. These people are just buying things, and they're going to learn the hard way. Like you said, some kids are going to learn some very expensive life lessons, but it's a cheaper life lesson to learn at a young age when you're retired and putting your retirement plan into altcoins because you don't know better. Hopefully people realize before Bitcoin is $17,000 right now that you might be making dollars with your altcoins, but you're losing Bitcoin. The quantity of Bitcoin you're going to get back is shrinking. So you're really losing in the long run. This is the only market you can make money and lose money at the same time. Once you understand that, you're always going to be chasing Bitcoin's profits. So I would avoid altcoins. And a lot of people are buying altcoins with 0 Bitcoin in their portfolio. That's going to be a bad, it's like the dodo thing. Everyone's going to walk off the cliff. I hope they come back, but who knows if they'll come back. They might blame Bitcoin for losing all their money, but it was them who bought the altcoin, not Bitcoin. It's scary.
Value your wealth in Bitcoin. That's what Ken just said, basically. And that's what I always say. See how much you're losing. If you're investing in some altcoin, you got to see how it's performing against Bitcoin. And again, in the long run, Bitcoin is going to win. Do you guys have anything to add to the altcoin thing, or do you want to discuss, is Bitcoin on the way back here? Are rational heads prevailing, and are we going to see a Bitcoin rally, or irrational heads prevailing still, but we'll still see a Bitcoin rally? Anyone say anything?
Bitcoin's taking off, man. There's no slowing it down right now, and I think it's not going to stop, especially right now with income tax season coming. My projection is everybody's about to get a fiat USD airdrop in their bank account of some shitcoin. You can take this new shitcoin you just got free and buy Bitcoin with it. And all of my friends and family say, oh, I don't have money to invest. Well, they're about to get an airdrop of money, fiat coin, and they're probably going to buy some Bitcoin with it. So I'm predicting all the way throughout this whole income tax season, Bitcoin will be going on its way up. But again, this whole altcoin fiasco, hopefully people learn sooner than later.
Wow, tax returns pumping up the Bitcoin price. I hadn't thought about that one yet. Giacomo or Michael, any thoughts on the altcoins, Bitcoins? Anything to add? A lot has been said.
Well, when I was your guest last time, I was in the streaming. We discussed about institutional investors coming soon. What I have to say is that I work mainly for banks in doing Bitcoin stuff for mainly institutional investor, mainly Switzerland. And what I have to say is that the price pump that we have just seen during the end of the 2017 isn't even yet connected with the real incoming of institutional money. So it's the institutional money, yeah, okay, now we have the future market that will add liquidity and some stability. Yeah, ETFs are closed. Some bank is starting to experimentally opening Bitcoin deposit for funds and clients, but the inexpressed buying pressure that I was feeling back in let's say in September is still mostly there. Many of the counterparty that I speak with every day are still not legally or technically capable or safe enough to really start accumulating. So, yeah, that's probably going to be interesting.
Yeah. So I'm hearing a little echo there. You guys, can you hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I think, one of the things for me, and I don't think I'm the only one, because I sort of have those trader instincts, the Wall Street instincts that a lot of people that are involved in Bitcoin now have as well. I got a little worried, when Ripple started, when we saw the B cash, then the Litecoin pump to like 350, and then immediately after the Ripple pump, and they all seem to be getting crazier and crazier and actually dumber and dumber. That worried me, I mean, I've been the Bitcoin bull for years, but I was just like, this is not good. This says something bad about the space, and I think a lot of people felt the same way. And I think that was part of this recent drop and this recent weakness. People just think, you know what, the whole space feels a little hot to me. I'm going to take my exposure down. But here's what's interesting. the action lately, I mean, you were saying we're at like almost 17,000 now. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, if you look at if you're a chart person for one thing, I mean, you're going to start this thing is looking pretty good again now, and the resiliency of the price. I mean, the high. We're almost back to all-time highs here.
Here we are.
That's pretty incredible. So people with instincts and people with a lot of trading experience, that's what they go on. They look at stuff like that and they say, wow, Bitcoin's back at 17,000. I got to get back in. So yeah, it looks pretty good. It feels pretty good. And I was one of these people who a week ago or so, I was saying, this Ripple, all this stuff is scaring me. But now you look at the price of Bitcoin, it's held up so incredibly well that, yeah, I mean, we could see all-time highs again really soon here. I actually wouldn't be surprised.
Strong hand, people. I wasn't worried at all. I'll tell you that. I will tell you, if you watch this show,
you are the strongest hand.
If you watch this show, people, you wouldn't have been worried about Ripple or Litecoin. Now, first of all, Litecoin is a lot different than Ripple. Yeah. But dude, again, value your wealth in Bitcoin. Litecoin didn't even reach an all-time high in Bitcoin, man. It didn't. People are. They call it diversification, these young kids today. When they're buying their 5th tier altcoins and whatnot. Let them learn the hard way what diversification does to you. But again, yeah, it's Bitcoin once again bounces back. Every time that there have been huge drops, it eventually gets back to an all-time high. I expect that to happen again. People are always, what's it going to be by the end of the year? I don't know, dudes. I know by the 2020 halving, though, because that's long term, it will be worth more. So, I mean, if you don't have patience enough for that, I don't know what to say. You're going to make a mistake if you're not patient and if you don't have 2020 type of patience. Ken, you're about to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say, what do you guys think of Coinbase custody for the institutional investors? Minimum $10 million investment at a time and $100,000 sign-up fee. I mean, the institutions are just getting ready to put money into this up into the minimum of $10 million an investment. So again, just to touch on what everybody was saying, this hasn't even started yet. People don't even understand the amount of money that's about to come into Bitcoin. A millionaire can't buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin. Like you were saying, they have to go around it, or by the time they actually buy it, the next time they buy some, they hyperinflated the price on themselves. So like, this is going to be where those rich people get in, but they haven't gotten in yet. So this is the time for you, me, and everybody that has, the first mover advantage to get in before the institutions.
Yeah, it's a very unique situation that the common man finally has an opportunity to beat the institutions. Usually it's with traditional IPOs with Facebook, I mean, it was the institutions got their hold of Facebook before regular people did. This is the reversal. And I'm not the one who came up with this theory. It's been talked about before, but it's good. It's good to bring it up. It's unique. And I actually made a video, I guess in 2015, and said, this is just like a Facebook ICO. Buy it now at $400, people. Pound that like button. Adam was pretty right back in 2015 when he said that. A lot of people back then were like, oh, $400 is a lot of money. I don't want to get 10. I don't want to spend $4,000 on 10 of them. That's what I said to do.
Oh,
spend $4,000, you'll get 10 of them, and then you'll see what happens. But again, anyway, no need to. It's still a bright future, people. No need to go back to the past there, because again, the institutions aren't in there yet. These guys, they all see it. They're trying to creep in there silently, but just like what Ken said, they don't want to boost up the price too high so they won't have to pay too much. So we're going to see FUD. We're going to see more Bcash FUD. We're going to see, it's all cyclical. Again, Giacomo brought it up before. We saw this with Ethereum. We've seen this with Bcash. We see it with Ripple. There's going to be another next Bitcoin again that's supposed to scare the weak hands. Just have a strong hand, and it is all good. Okay, enough of me. Enough of I talked too much just then. Michael or Giacomo, do you have anything to add before we move on to other subject matters here?
I don't know if it's already another subject, but it's also connected with our feelings about the price. I hate to say this because I know that this puts a lot of pressure on very, very few guys that are working very, very hard with a lot of expectation. But Lightning Network is coming live finally. There is a lot of expectation around this technology, but this will be paramount, not because people will start to buy coffee with Bitcoin en masse, not because of that, but because people will finally understand that what they have been told for 2 years, that Bitcoin is not but the blockchain, the underlying technology, that's what counts. Actually, it's the actual opposite. The underlying technology, the blockchain, it's fine. Everybody loves the blockchain. We need it for trustlessness, but it doesn't scale. But the asset itself, a fairly distributed, zero collateral risk, zero counterparty risk, digital gold, that concept itself can scale on different chains, on trusted hardware, on Lightning Network, on everything. So Lightning Network is not just important because people will start to pay stuff finally instant without confirmation, and finally very, very cheap, but also because it will mark the difference between some years of people obsessed with the underlying platform, like everybody, instead of talking about e-commerce, let's talk about packet switching in IP protocol. No, it's not that. You will have TCP, you will have HTTP, you will have streaming, you will have a lot of layers. And the thing is not packet switching itself. The thing is that now you have open access to information globally for everybody, and now open access to value and to finance and to trade and to payments for everybody. So the symbolic value of something like Lightning, I think, will also affect the public perception a lot. Also, putting to rest a lot of FUD about fees and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm pumped about the Lightning. Totally. Krieger.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that. I mean, it's really important because, and it's one of the things that I've been preaching to a lot of, like these gold guys who like refuse to just give up on the gold obsession. Talk about Bitcoin. This is the beauty of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is this living thing, even though like the core protocol of the 21 million and all the stuff that makes it popular as digital gold is there, hopefully forever. The fact that we're now going to the next level and building on top of that and trying to make a whole nother layer on top of the original blockchain, it proves to you that this is a living thing. This is a creative thing. This is something that's constantly can change the world and adapt. Whereas like with gold, you're just buying a piece of metal and you're putting it in a drawer, and then you're like maybe hoping for the world to end. And so Bitcoin is where human creativity can flourish at the same time as being a global store of value like gold. So what's better than that? What's better than the digital gold that you can then improve upon on another layer to allow payments potentially and stuff? So yeah, it's a key point. And this is why young people, and this is what I've learned recently, young people I talk to about, like I mentioned gold too, they just don't care. They have no interest in it. And they're all interested in the crypto space. And the reason is young people are going to have to be around for a long time. And they want a cool world, right? They want a dynamic world. Like if you're 25 and you have a little spare money, you're going to go buy like a few ounces of silver and then just like look at it all day? Or are you going to say, okay, I'm going to throw myself in this dynamic ecosystem that truly has the potential to move this planet from the current dominator hierarchy model to a network model? It's a huge transformation, and it's actually what the species needs to evolve. And so, we need, people need to really think about Bitcoin in a much different way. And Adam, like for me, the political angle of Bitcoin is what I have no technology background. What got me interested was the politics of it. And when I found out in 2012 that WikiLeaks was able to avoid the financial blockade using Bitcoin, that's when I said, wait a minute, this is a real deal that's having real life implications in the real world on a very political level. And so, let's never forget that. And that's what Bitcoin was then, and that's what Bitcoin is now. And it's important to Bitcoin.
Well, this is some really deep stuff. I am loving it. Everyone's bringing their A game. And you know what? You can see the beautiful Rocky Mountains behind you there, Michael, right? But you are right now, you are pure. you're pure Michael. You're not taking advantage of all those lenient laws in Colorado.
No, never. I would never do something like that.
This is the real. That's why I tell people,
it's the devil weed, Adam. Don't you know? Good people don't smoke marijuana.
You know what? People can do people can do what they want to do. But man, I love it when people have a clear head and are just bringing their A game because they worked on their brain themselves. They don't need some mechanism pumping them up or anything. It's just, I love life. That's all I'm trying to say. People don't live it pure, baby. Live it pure. But I did want to point out he's in Colorado. And actually, that's always a good segue into Ken Bosak because he's rumored to have dabbled in all sorts of, who knows? I don't know what greenery with shrubbery is.
My A game is brought to you by the Devil's Lettuce.
Yeah, he gets his A game a little different. Anyway, no, Ken, what do you have to say about, he brought up a great point about no young people don't want to store gold in their drawer anymore. That's not too cool. They want something dynamic.
No.
Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, if you would have bought gold last year, it would have been probably one of your worst investments when compared to any crypto. I mean, at all, any. So anybody in this day and age, the millennial mentality, maybe they'll be considered the cryptocurrency generation instead of, the millennial generation or something at the end of the era, because all these kids are going to grow up with digital currencies. You don't have to be 21 years old with a bank account to send your friend money over Facebook. I can be a 5-year-old kid who made a bet with another 5-year-old kid and he beat me on Call of Duty. So now I have to send him some Bitcoin because he kicked my ass. That is possible now. And more kids that learn about things like, Steam It. Could you imagine if high schools started to just swarm to Steam It, where these kids could learn that if I post something that happened in high school and 50 of my friends think it's funny, I can earn because I created a profit for the platform. I gained value for the platform, so I earned value from the platform. So once these kids, this generation coming into this, realize how money works on the internet and how easy it is and permissionless. That's what got me into all of this. I don't need nobody's permission and neither do you. I can just send you money if I need to. Like you can send me an email with information if you need to. Nobody's permissions needed. And once these kids realize that they could earn an income or, send value to each other without anybody's permission, you're going to have probably kids that are younger than their parents retiring soon because of this. Like these millennials are going to retire before their parents get a chance to because they're the early adopters to this technology. It clicks. You give a 5-year-old an iPad, they just intuitively know how to use it. They were never taught. They didn't read the white paper, but they get it. It just clicks. The same thing with digital currencies. Once these children start using it, they will eventually be the adults. You can't keep kids forever. So when these kids are in their 20s, they will be the people running for office. They'll be the people in charge of the bank. They'll have this mentality that they're bringing with them to this current system, this current institution that nobody can predict right now. So I'm excited for all the new people coming in, especially the younger, the better, because they're the ones that are going to be carrying this farther than all of us.
Dude, I love what you just said about the crypto generation retiring before their parents do.
It will happen. I know I'm going to retire before my mom.
God willing, it happens. They got to get into this now, though. They can't believe the FUD. They can't get distracted by Ripple. And it's just an incredible opportunity, the way you just phrase it like that. But the question is, will any of them or will any of us be able to convince Peter Schiff?
You can't help it. He doesn't want to be helped.
No. He's on his own path. He's going his own way. He's on the
financial religion, man. It's financial religion. Sometimes people are just so they said it for so long. If they were to change their opinion now, they'll be mocked by everybody, and they'd rather be wrong than be mocked.
Well, Doug Casey sort of changed, but he gets distracted by various, we won't even get to say who he gets, but at least he's willing to consider cryptocurrency. Schiff, he's on that yellow brick road to obscurity or to who knows who his grandchildren might retire before him. Who knows? All right. Giacomo, any thoughts or anything you want to add that we left out here?
No, not really. I think we covered a lot of topics, and I will try to be contrarian just a little bit. Right now, I don't own physical gold. I think that if Bitcoin will get to a certain point, well, I will have the luxury to really differentiate my investment. Physical gold could still function as a very, very, let's say, a cautious edge against like end of the world like scenario. Of course, we do like to think about positive scenarios, but like something very bad that destroys the internet. Let's say it's probably Bitcoin can survive the internet, especially now with the satellite mesh networks, maybe paid with Lightning. So probably Bitcoin is already at the point where Bitcoin itself can survive internet itself. But I will not really assign zero probability to some bad scenario in which cryptocurrencies Bitcoin fails, because basically we get to Mad Max kind of scenario. Then probably physical gold and bullets and oil will be like physical oil in a tank will be also a good kind of edge, and not just Bitcoin. That said, please do not invest on dollars, on stuff like that. That's doomed.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in here? Because I think he made a really good point. And this is how I've described. And I do own gold, and I've owned it, you know, for since I was on Wall Street, and I still do. And I never recommend people do, but I think it's important to characterize it versus what's going on in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And the way I like to say it is, gold is like a catastrophic hedge, as he just said. But the way you should see it is like a homeowner's insurance policy, right? You don't want your house to burn down, but you have to have the homeowner's insurance policy. So you have a little bit of gold in case, right, the global house burns down in that way. But the thing is this: you don't buy a homeowner's insurance policy and then stare at it all day and then get on Twitter being like, oh, I love my homeowner's insurance policy, it's really going to pay out. You know, you buy it, you put it away, and you hope you never ever have to use it. And that's the but that's not how these gold guys see gold. They want to make a fortune on gold, right? They're rooting in a lot of ways for things to go bad so they can make money. And that's just a very sick and unhealthy mentality. So that's what I take objection to. I don't object to people owning physical metals at all. I think it's smart to have some. The difference, though, is you own it, you put it away, and then you buy Bitcoin, and then you get involved in the Bitcoin community and try to change the world. And that's where your energy should be going. And that's the key. It's like a lot of these precious metal guys, their energy is all going to negativity and how bad things are and how bad things are going to be, and that they're going to make a fortune when things are terrible. And that's a horrible way to live life. And if you live life that way, I guarantee you are going to be miserable. So join us here, you know, in the Bitcoin world, and let's try to do some good. But yeah, put some metals aside, sure. But it's like a homeowner's insurance policy. That's how you should see it.
Yeah, and this is you just preaching what I preach on this channel. There's a big difference between living paralyzed in a doom porn hole than having an insurance policy. I mean, so it's good to have insurance. It's bad to just not be in motion and live in a hole and fear the worst and cheer for the worst to happen. And yeah, Ken. Any thoughts on that? Or we're getting close to the end of the show here, so everyone's gonna have to do their story of the week, their wrap up, things that have been left out. Ken, what do you have to say?
I got two birds with one stone here. I got some gold Bitcoin coin right here. It didn't go up in value as much as Bitcoin did, but I got some gold. So my story of the week is Bitcoin data recovery. A good friend of mine, Jason Gann from microsolderingsupply.com, he does data recovery, say photos of loved ones on phones that were broken or accidentally factory reset. He can remedy that situation. Somebody had a broken LG G3 with, I think he recovered about 0.6 Bitcoin off of it. And at the time, who cares? It was who would pay a data recovery specialist to recover $100 or whatever worth of Bitcoin at that time they broke their phone. Well, they checked on the Bitcoin price and were like, yo, I got like $7,000 worth of Bitcoin on that broken phone. Might be worth paying a data recovery specialist to help recover the data. So Jason at microsolderingsupply.com, if anybody ever needs this service, he actually took this broken phone, took the eMMC chip off, the embedded multimedia card, the internal memory chip and took it off of the LG G3. He put it on a Motorola something. And anyway, he ended up being able to recover this, but it was a mycelium wallet. So his customer had a mycelium wallet on the LG G3. The phone broke. It was non-functioning, had water damage and corrosion everywhere. He restored the internal memory chip, put it on another separate hardware device, and all he did was download mycelium, the wallet. He rooted the phone. He ported over the recovered data into the file folder of the mycelium wallet on the new device, and it had the access to the private keys instantly. And I was like, yo, this is awesome. He was able to recover 0.6 Bitcoin relatively easy for a data recovery expert. Probably took him about an hour or two. And, you know, the customer made thousands of dollars. He made some money, and, you know, that's awesome. But in my head, I kept thinking, you know, the doomsday porn, you know, Adam, I couldn't stop it. It was going off. It was like XXX rated. I was thinking, man, could you imagine if you broke an Android phone with your wallet on it, but you had it, you know, backed up? So who cares? And you put it in one of those cell phones for soldiers boxes, or you give it to somebody for parts, and whatever happens, they could have access to your private keys by simply doing a data recovery. It does sound complicated, but you know, most kids are pretty tech savvy. So could you imagine saying, oh, I'm Adam Meister, I'm selling my old Android phone for Bitcoin. You want to buy my Android phone for Bitcoin? You factory reset the phone, you sell it to somebody, they undo that reset. And because there's no encryption on the certain wallets, like Mycelium did not encrypt the folder in the root file, the private key was just there. So somebody could just restore the phone they bought from you, knowing you're a Bitcoin personality, most likely have it on your hardware. So it just made me go off like, I'm never selling a phone again. I will melt it in a fire before I ever give it to anybody again. And right before I got hacked recently, I did sell a couple Android devices for Bitcoin. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I probably put myself in a position where all they had to do was reset the phone and log into my email or whatever was there when it wasn't actually reset. So the takeaway is it's a double-edged sword here. Great, awesome recovery, but unfortunately we found an exploit people should be aware of. Don't reset your phone. Don't give away any broken phones. If you ever had Bitcoin on it, just hold on to that broken device and smelt it yourself down into ash.
Well, first of all, that is an awesome story. And what I was thinking from that story is I've always been suspicious of keeping Bitcoin on phones. I don't like it. I don't recommend it. I just keep it simple with the Trezor, or if you want to do the Ledger Nano. I am a hardware wallet type of guy. I am not a phone guy. And many people in the show know I don't own a phone. I don't own one of those iPhones, Android, whatever, I don't complicate my life. I don't want people tracking me down all over the world where I am. If they want to contact me, they can email me. I would not, and if I had a phone, I would not keep my Bitcoin there. And so that is what and you just gave a story that's shows like, yeah, man, this is maybe not the way to go. Michael Krieger dropped off.
Get a hardware wallet for sure, because you have to have a hardware wallet. If you have more money invested in crypto than a hardware wallet costs, you should buy a hardware. Wallet.
I completely agree. Also because money. Phones, cell phones are dangerous. But as we know, even computers with an Intel or ARM processor are not just that safe. So hardware wallet makes sense. I will add just to be complete that probably if you own a lot of Bitcoins, you should have one or more hardware wallets, maybe multi-sig. And if you receive a lot of Bitcoins from exchanges, from your business, from whatever, then you should also have a validating full node. That's something that that's more complex than just a hardware wallet. So we don't repeat it very often to people. But the reality is that if you don't have your wallet, your private keys are in danger to be lost or stolen. But if you don't have your validating full node, then you can receive fake payments with inflation violation of Bitcoin rules. Everything it takes is just a minor majority temporarily colluding in order to fuck you. sorry, to scam you, like B2X guys were going to do.
Well, I will say this. I say have 3. I've said this many times. Have 3 hardware wallets, man. It's worth. That's insurance. That's a cheap insurance policy right there.
Yeah, talk about homeowners insurance. Get your crypto owners insurance.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone, we're gonna transition here to Michael for his conclusionary story of the week in a second. But I wanna say one thing. I wanna have a conclusionary story of the week real quick. Also, if you are in San Francisco, January 15th and 16th, World Crypto Economic Forum, South San Francisco Conference Center. I am going to be speaking there. The link is below. You can get a discount code is below also. Vinny Lingham will also be speaking there. All sorts of people, will be speaking there. And I think the Meister discount code, it's listed below. Anyway, go check it out. That's my little promo story of the week. Michael, do you have anything to add to what was just said about this whole phones, storage device, or do you have a story? The floor is yours. Please take it away.
Thank you. Yeah. So no, not on that front. I actually want to just end with a little rant on decentralization and sort of try to inspire some people. So I think Bitcoin and the Bitcoin community is the leading edge of where humanity is going. And I believe humanity is going to a decentralized form of managing human affairs. And so what happened this week with Jeff Sessions trying to take a stab at cannabis legalization is I want people to think about this from the concept of we need to decentralize other things as well. And governance and politics is a huge one. And the fact that we in certain states, like my state of Colorado here, California now, Washington State, Oregon, Nevada, Alaska, the fact that these states have now decriminalized cannabis is a humanitarian thing. It's a freedom thing. And if it wasn't for states that had the power to do that on their own, we would never have that in America. We would not be having this discussion at all. We would not have progressed at all. And that's happening because of states and local governance and people taking power into their own hands. And so I want people to really start to think about this and apply the principles of Bitcoin into your everyday life, because it's decentralization and sovereignty and human freedom is applicable to everything, not just money. And so we need to really decentralize the planet, not just money. So let's do that. And I want everyone to start thinking more and more about that, what it means to politics. Because for me, the fact that 325 million people in this country are largely ruled by a bunch of corrupt cronies in Washington, D.C., in the centralized bureaucracy of just swampiness is disgusting. And we shouldn't stand for it. That's all I have to say.
Wow. Pound that like button, people. That was a beautiful conclusionary remarks right there. Wow. Decentralize it all. All right, Giacomo, you're far away. You're in Italy. We're letting you have the final words.
Well, so I'm in Italy, but I just came back from Bulgaria, where with some partners I established a little mining operation because I'm trying to differentiate in that field as well, because it's very important strategically. And a very nice thing is that we were there funding a company in order to do research and development on mining during the 3rd of January. And it occurred to me just in the same afternoon that actually it was the Genesis Block Day. So I would like to end with happy Genesis Block Day to everybody.
Wow, time flies, people. And that's why 2020 is not that far away. All right, we're getting a little bit of an echo, so we go. I'm at Bitcoin Meister. The disruptor. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Like this video, share this video. This is a sign from above. This is a sign from above. Next Friday, we post here every day. See you guys. Bye-bye.